what I want people to understand, right? And I'm before I get started, I just want to say that I can already hear some women writing down and on social media, well, men have been doing this to women for years. So, if you don't like it, then why don't you stop other men from sitting up there doing it? Because, this is what women have to go through on an everyday basis. Right. So in a sense, what you're saying is you're advocating for this type of thing to take place to men because you feel that men need to learn a lesson. But if a man were to do this to, let's say, Rihanna, Beyonce, Doja Cat, or any of these Megan Thee Stallion, any of these other female artists out here, the whole world will go into a type of rage and they would directly try to destroy that man and any and everything that is directly connected with him. Social media will sit up there and get his information. They will put it directly out there for everybody, and inevitably something negative would end up happening to that guy because of one action, right? But here you have a male artist who is doing his set, and a woman from the crowd decided that she wanted to grab on to him very hard. You can see the way that she basically gripped that man. And I can tell you that that hurts. Women don't understand that because they don't exactly have testicles in a sense, right? So it's like, if anything, uh even if a dime or a nickel or a penny, right, is thrown correctly and it hits a certain area or areas, it is going to hurt very bad, if not disable a man, right? And you can clearly see the look on that man's face. Like, he's embarrassed, he's angry, he got frustration because he knows, like, he wants to sit up there and he wants to give that woman a right hand of God. But he knows at the end of the day, if he were to sit up there and do it, then the Justice League is going to show up, right? You're going to have men in the crowd trying to form Voltron, Power Rangers, X-Force, turn into Astro Boy, right? They're going to try to do everything in life in order to sit up there and come down on that dude because, quote unquote, he was wrong for going at her, right? And like I said, this is what happens when you don't put a lot of these women in check. These type of actions are not okay. If it's not okay for it to happen to women, then it should not be okay for it to happen to guys. Like I said, you can clearly look at that man's face and you can tell that that is not what he was expecting. That is not what he was looking for. But yet you didn't see her get escorted out. You didn't sit up there and see any type of women try to protect that dude and try to be like, yo, what are you doing? Da da da. All this. You didn't see none of that. Like I said before, this is nonsense right here. And this is how, because there are no type of consequences when women do stuff like this is why things are able to persist and to keep happening time and time and time and time again. I can't tell you how many times I done seen male artists. They could be like R&B, they can also be some other rappers or whatever it is. If a woman is close enough on the stage, they will automatically start putting their hands up trying to tear that man's clothes off, trying to grab him, trying to pull him directly off stage. And that's ridiculous. Like I said before, a lot of these behaviors should not be able to persist. If it is wrong for one group, it should be wrong for every group.
Here comes a new challenger!
This is basically what ignorance looks like, and this is something that I have stated to you guys before, where you have a lot of quote unquote individuals that don't want to hold women accountable for the things that they decide to do. So this person stated, it's a guy doing, I first thought it was a girl, but it's a dude, question mark, question mark, question mark. OFC, it's still wrong, but like WTF. Like I said, you have individuals out here that want to focus on the wrong thing, and then when they focus on the wrong thing, they end up getting and finding the wrong answers. So this is what happens when you decide that you want to be stupid on social media without knowing or having your facts together. In the video evidence that you are able to see directly in front of you, after it pans over to the right, you can clearly see it is a woman dancing without a care in the world. You clearly see that there are other women there that, of course, aren't trying to correct her. aren't trying to do anything in order to, of course, in a sense, put a stop to these types of actions that happens to, male performers, right? I even had a guy who is a professional trainer, and he has stated that he, among other trainers, have been grabbed and touched on without their consent by women. So, like I said before, these are things that always happen, right? It's fine for women to sit up there and just randomly touch on a guy that they find attractive, but then if a guy does the same thing, oh, the whole world stops. The universe stops doing what it's doing. Magically, all the gods of new and old have to conjoin and put all of their forces into one in order to sit up there and stop this villain, right? But you don't have that same reaction. You don't have that same talk, right? When it's women doing this to guys. Why? Because it's a guy, right? He probably enjoyed it. He probably wanted it anyway. He was probably looking at her in some type of way anyway, right? Like I said, if we're going to try to do this equality thing, then it needs to be equal, right? Across the board, right? So if we're not going to allow, right, men to do this to women, then we also need to have that same type of action, that same type of rah 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 that women want to have on social media. I need to see women have that same type of reaction when it comes to this. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, women aren't going to hold other women accountable.